Superheroes, some of the most popular characters and stories in history, going back all the way to the 40s, getting many fans over the years, including me. I remember the first time I saw a superhero property, it was at the movie theaters watching Spider-Man 3. Which I don't care what anyone says, that was a good movie. I will stand by that take. And ever since then, I've been a Spider-Man fan for as long as I can remember. Cause he's the greatest hero of all time. He deserves all the respect. I remember watching the Spider-Man 90s show, Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man Unlimited all the time with my dad, who was also a huge superhero fan since like the 80s. Those shows are still some of the best superhero shows ever. But as a kid, I wanted to expand more on superheroes, not just Spider-Man. So I watched so many other superhero shows growing up, like Batman the Animated Series, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, X-Men Evolution, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, Teen Titans the good one, X-Men the 90s show, Static Shock, just so many shows. I love them all growing up and I still do. Even non-Marvel and DC shows are just as good. Powerpuff Girls, even though I couldn't let the gang know I fuck with this though. The Ben 10 franchise, which is my favorite Cartoon Network show. TMNT, and that includes superhero anime like My Hero Academia and One Punch Man. Since, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm kind of a big anime fan and I'm kind of a massive My Hero fan, you know, just in case you didn't know. Hey, editing in one here, so the rest of this audio was just corrupted or muted, like I don't know why, I just randomly just stopped going. Basically what I was saying in that segment was that the MCU became big, I loved it as a kid, but then it became oversaturated with new movies and shows that feel lazy and just bad. And I just said, oh, everyone's feeling superhero fatigue, and I thought that was bullshit. They just don't like bad shows or movies with superheroes. They just want the good ones, they use that as an excuse or whatever. Like, it was a whole fucking thing. I'm honestly like, I am tired, like y'all don't know, because right now I have a huge goddamn headache. Like, everything hurts. Like, bro, this whole thing is pissing me off. I just want to get this over with, bro. Why is it always me? Let's get this out of the way. My Hero Academia Season 7, it's amazing. Like, wow, no shit, the My Hero fan loves this season. Who would guess? I know Act 3 is controversial in the fandom, but for me, I love this part of the story, and this season is doing a fantastic job at adapting it. Star Trek vs. Tomura was amazing. It was beautifully animated, made Star's death even more impactful. The trailer episodes were also great. I was one of the few guys that actually didn't mind the trailer plotline. Like, I thought what Horikoshi was trying to do with Aoyama was handled well, and it definitely exposed the reading comprehension problem of manga readers, like, you know. And now the season is starting the final war arc, which is still a crazy thing to think about, and it looks so good. I'm so excited to see what the rest of the season is gonna show us. It's gonna be so good. Like, My Hero is always so good at using classic superhero tropes in its own way, so these next couple episodes are gonna be so good. They're gonna hit so hard. Speaking of MHA, let's get into the hero that inspired its creator, Spider-Man. Now, I already said that Spider-Man is my favorite hero of all time. This character has meant so much to me growing up, inspired me in many ways, and that's the same for every other Spider-Man fan. So, explain to me, why is the recent comic so bad? Like, I'm being so dead ass here when I say the new Amazing Spider-Man comics are terrible. It's some of the worst pieces of fiction I've ever read. It ruined Peter's character, rehashing the same arcs over and over again. And why do you exist? Like, who are you? Like, you can give me the most terrible, mediocre manga, and I'll still say New Amazing Spider-Man is the worst comic, or whatever. Like, this comic makes my balls shiver. It's disgusting. Ugh. I'm not gonna lie, it was not looking good for Spider-Man fans these past few years, man. We had No Way Home, but this comic was just bringing us down. It was rough out here. Until now. This year, it was revealed that a new Ultimate Universe was starting, being a lot less dark than the last one, meaning a new Spider-Man story, and holy shit, this comic is amazing. Basically, in this story, Peter is an adult, married to MJ, has 2 kids, so he's already chilling, living his best life. But there's some differences in this universe. The biggest one here is Peter isn't Spider-Man. Here, he didn't get bit by the spider and lived a simple, normal life. And because of this, his Uncle Ben never died and works at the Daily Bugle with Peter. Like, life was doing good for him until a tragic event happened that killed many people, including Aunt May. So one day he gets a message from Tony Stark in the future telling him he was supposed to be Spider-Man a long time ago. So Tony gives him the spider that bit him, or supposed to bite him, and a new suit so he officially becomes the new Spider-Man of this universe as a grown-ass man. This new story is so different than what we've been getting. It's such a breath of fresh air. The art is great, the writing is great, especially with the characters. Seeing Peter and his family bond is just so sweet. I'm so excited to see what this universe has in store for both Peter and the other heroes. I guess you could say that Spider-Man here is now... That was the worst transition in this whole video, I'm so sorry. After winning on this long hiatus, Invincible is back, and my god, the second half of season 2 is honestly better than the first half, so the wait was worth it. This core gave us the iconic "thought you were stronger" meme, and it was a lot more darker and sad in context. Mark's struggle with being a hero and trying to be normal unlike his father is honestly just sad, but interesting. Like, we see how damaged he really is, and it's gonna get worse. I'm just curious on how he's gonna deal with all this. The same goes to Debbie, his mother, who's trying so hard to find a way to cope and move on from Nolan's actions, but it just doesn't work for her. Like, seriously, she tried everything. Like, everything just failed. Like, these two are some of the most damaged characters in this series, and that's saying something. The rest of the cast got their time to shine here in this season. Eve trying to make the world better on her own has its highs and its lows, showing that having all this power isn't all that simple. Now, I really like that about Eve, like, it's so good. Her dad is a bum though, oh my god, fuck this guy! Made Rex, who was one of my least favorite characters, to one of my favorites, having a natural and really realistic character progression from being a jackass to a reliable hero and a friend. This season also redeemed Amber, where in season 1, she was completely unreasonable, unlikable, making her romance with Mark really shallow, but in this season, her and Mark actually feel like a couple. In college, they're a lot more understanding and really tried hard to make this work. I actually felt bad for them, especially when they broke up, because I know Mark and Eve are gonna get together in the future, so I saw it coming. But man, they did such a good job with these two that I actually gave a shit about their romance. And again, Amber is so much more likable and understanding. Like, I didn't think that was possible, but it was. Like, this season redeemed Amber, and I actually wanted her and Mark to be a little bit more happier, but that just couldn't happen. And lastly, Omni-Man. There is so much to unpack about him in this season. Like, we see his struggle on having deeper emotions, actually caring about others that his people deem below him, including his wife and his son. It's an interesting way to show this psychotic villain become more broken and damaged with some regret. Like, I know we've been talking about characters a lot more in this section because Invincible Season 2 felt more like a character-driven story than just fights. Like, there were fights, obviously, and some really good ones. Hell, there was some lore and some multiverse shit that was happening here. But I felt the character writing was a lot stronger here than Season 1. I am so hyped to see what else is in store for Invincible, because I hear it gets some crazy and just out-of-pocket shit in the comics. I can't wait. Shit, I might read the comics at this point. Rudy and Monster Girl were, they're alright.
What are you doing?
With all this talk about superheroes and anime, I should probably say that I also grew up on Power Rangers. I loved watching Power Rangers growing up. So Ranger Reject, like, no, I'm not calling it Go Loser Ranger, took 3 things I liked and just put them all together. And all I gotta say is that what they're doing it perfectly. The story is just take Power Rangers, but make it the boys, where instead of being heroes of justice, behind the scenes, the Power Rangers are egotistical psychopaths that want all the power and control they can get. And the main character, D, who's one of the grunts, is tired of his people getting mistreated and abused by the Rangers, so he sneaks into their bases to expose them and then kill them to set his people free. But obviously this is not going to be easy as it looks, because there's so many obstacles, including the Rangers, in his way. And that's only the basic plot. Ranger Reject gets into so much crazier plots and characters. I love it all. The tension in this anime is so good. Like, I'm dead ass on the edge of my seat all the time watching each episode. The characters, especially D, pause, are great. Their different backstories and motives makes them all stand out, leaving a mystery of who they are and what their true goals are. Not to mention the animation, the art in this anime is gorgeous. Every single episode just looks beautiful, and the art in the manga is also fantastic. Ranger Reject is just a great show. It's got a unique and interesting story with cool characters, a nice setting, and a cool insight on the Power Rangers sort of story and like how it works. The author truly knows what he's doing with this. He also made Quintessential Quintuplets, by the way. Yeah, he made that as well. Okay, wait, hold up, hear me out. Yes, this next show doesn't count as a superhero story technically, but Look, I just wanted to mention Windbreaker because this is my favorite anime of the spring season, and I love it, okay? So just let me have this, okay? Damn. The plot is Sakura, this thug, who was an outcast in his hometown, moved into a smaller town to join one of the toughest and most brutal gangs to prove he's the strongest. But he finds out the Joinhe gang, Bufurin, are actually the local heroes of the town. They serve to protect the people and beat the evil rival gangs. So yeah, it kind of counts as like a hero manga anime, kind of, sort of, not really. But it was enough for me to put Windbreaker here. Okay, look, just watch Windbreaker. Okay, this anime is amazing. It has some of the best fight scenes of the whole year. The cast is great. Just watch this, please. And the last thing here I'm going to talk about is my favorite superhero project of the whole year. This is the best one in my opinion, and that show is X-Men 97. This is the best show of the entire year of any medium. I've been an X-Men fan for as long as I can remember, because my pops is also a huge X-Men fan. He grew up on the comics and of course the 90s show, which I used to watch with him all the time growing up. That show was one of my favorite ones growing up. It was my introduction to the X-Men series and also the Fox movies. We'll get to that later. So when I found out it was coming back, I just lost my shit. I didn't think this show was ever gonna come back. And as soon as it dropped, I watched it and I fell in love with it. Like, everyone has said the praise of this show already, but it's deserved. It's got fantastic writing on the X-Men team, making their bonds and their own issues more personal. The animation, the art is gorgeous. Like, I'm not joking when I say that X-Men 97 has one of my favorite art styles of all time. It looks so good. The fight scenes are excellent. The character movements and posing are clean. The setting and atmosphere for its emotional moments are perfect. They all fit the scene just so well. It does an amazing job at tackling discrimination, putting the same care and effort as the 90s, which it deserves. Like, this topic deserves that. It's also got the best version of Cyclops in terms of adaptation. If you've been an X-Men fan, you probably know that Cyclops just gets fucked over in a lot of adaptations. The Fox movies are the worst at it. They completely just disrespected his character, making him a boring Boy Scout that's always getting bitched, especially by Logan. And then halfway through the whole universe, they just kind of gave up on him. Like, I barely remember seeing him in any other movie. Like, what the hell? And Wolverine the X-Men, although I like that show, it did not do justice to Cyclops at all. They show him as a desperate and pathetic man who's just clingy, like weirdly clingy to Jean. And even if it was intentional, it wasn't done right. It just made Cyclops so unlikable throughout the show. X-Men Evolution did him justice though, I can't lie. But because of these bad moments, I always forget that Cyclops is supposed to be the leader of the X-Men, because he's either overshadowed by Logan or just sucks. It just sucks completely. X-Men 97 gets rid of all of that for Cyclops. In this show, he is fantastic. It portrays him as an actual leader and a reliable one. But they still make sure to give him his own issues to deal with, like with Jean being a clone, having to give up on his own son to help him, his whole interview scene, which is just so good. Like, where was this Cyclops my whole life? There's actual depth to his character, and he's actually likable throughout the whole show. In fact, he's probably my favorite character in this whole show. Like, he's so good in 97, oh my god. And I love the rest of the team too. Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Beast, Nightcrawler, and especially Gambit. Oh my god, they were great in this show. Bro, Gambit had such a W moment, man. Dying doing what he always does, taking a gamble, and it was handled so well. R.I.P. the GOAT, for real. And bruh, I haven't even gotten into Magneto yet. I love how the show actually had him try Xavier's way. Like, the entire show until the finale, he tried to be like Xavier. He tried to have humans and mutants be together, but it simply just didn't work out. And so it makes him going back to his older self more believable and also kind of tragic, because he tried to help humanity, but they failed him. Like, Magneto was right. Like, some humans are pieces of shit. This show did every single thing right, making it the best hero show of the year and the best TV show of the entire year. And I'll forever love it. And Marvel, please bring back Spider-Man. Like, come on. I love the 90s show growing up. I need it back in the 97 style. Don't make these cameos meaningless. Please just bring it back. Come on, why? I said what I said here. Superhero fans are just winning this year, and with upcoming projects like Deadpool 3, The Boys Season 4, One Punch Man Season 3, that Kinnikuman Man reboot, and Suicide Squad, it's just gonna keep getting better and better, and hopefully it'll last a way longer time. And to end this off, bro, why do y'all keep changing the title of this show? Yo, I swear, this show is so cooked, bro.